What's going on, everybody? I want to teach you how to make $30 an hour painting miniatures. Now, this is going to be a series of videos, and we're going to deep dive into it a little bit. You may have a job you like, and maybe you don't need to paint miniatures full time. That's cool, but maybe you want to make a little extra money to go on vacation or whatever. Maybe you don't like your job and want to transition to something you do like, painting. Good way to do it. Now, a lot of us have heard artists don't make money. Oh no, an artist can't make money. That is not true when you're painting miniatures. It's got to be, number one, the easiest way for a painter to earn a living painting. Bar none. I can't imagine how anybody painting would quickly earn a livable wage painting canvases quicker than painting miniatures. I don't know if that made sense. Sorry, the lighting's a little messed up because I have it set up for painting. I've been doing live streams, and we're going to be doing some streams about this subject. But I'm going to jump into a few topics here and show you it's easier than you think. Number one, these miniatures aren't very expensive. This owlbear here is from WizKids, and it costs $5. Okay? This owlbear can sell painted easily for 15, 20 bucks. 30, not too hard. 40, probably not that hard. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 maybe, right? 300, who knows? We'll get into it. Now, if you can paint this owlbear and sell it for, say, $35, and we're going to ignore the eBay fee for now. If you can paint this owlbear and sell it for $35 in an hour, you make about $30 an hour. Now, one way to greatly increase your chances of doing that is paint two at the exact same time. If you want to maximize your time, and you could do more, you could do 5 if you wanted. But one of the things that's going to slow you down is dry time of your paint and materials. So if you work on 2, one or the other, work on this one while it's drying, work on this one. Now at the end, let's say you have 2 models up for sale for $35 each. Say it took you 2 hours and you made 60 bucks, $30 an hour. And you can go way higher than this. And I think miniature painting's a skill a lot of people could learn, especially if you're into fine art or nail art or whatever. I think, or just focus practice. You could take an actual photo of a nicely painted miniature, the exact one you're about to paint. You could find them on Instagram, and you could just copy it. You could try your best to copy it. It's possible. And that would be also a good way to learn. It's like how a 2D artist, like when I was doing oil painting or drawing, we would try to copy like a Michelangelo drawing, or you do a master copy of like a Leonardo da Vinci painting, right? You attempt it, right? So that's one way to do it, is you work on more than one at a time of the exact same model. Because a lot of the time you use or lose when painting miniatures is problem solving. How am I going to paint this eye? How am I going to paint this eye? How am I going to do the beak, the eyebrows, the nails, the base? If I already solved those problems once, I can just do it again without, in half the time, if not less, because I'm thinking about color choice and problem solving, composition, temperature, whatever. And then once I've solved that problem, I could just do it again, right? I could have 2. And actually, you could probably have 2 done in almost the exact same time you have 1 done. It's just the way it works, because you spend a lot of time waiting for paint to dry and a lot of time problem solving the miniature. Another step that is very, very good is simple, popular miniatures. Or just simple miniatures. This here is an owlbear. He's almost all one big ball of fur and feathers, so he's going to be easy to paint. Now, this is a Games Workshop. Well, you can't see him at all. This is a Games Workshop character. He's covered in details. I know you can't see him, but it's fine. He's going to take way longer to paint. Let's say he took 10 hours. Are you going to sell him for $300? It's possible, and we'll show you. But you could also painted 10 of these and sold them for $50 each maybe, right? These are just random numbers. It's going to depend on your skill and the buyer, the buying market. But these simple miniatures are much easier to paint than a Games Workshop miniature. This miniature here is a gelatinous cube. It's literally a cube of clear plastic. I've painted one of these and sold it for like $40 on eBay. It almost has no detail. So it's much easier to do that than a high-end Games Workshop model with tons and tons of detail. Because you have to problem solve and color composition all that detail. There's a game right now called Gaslands. These Hot Wheels cost $1. You could buy them for $1. Repaint them for Gaslands, and I don't know how much they sell for. I've seen some go for about 25, 30 bucks. So if you could sell those cars for 30 bucks and you're buying them for $1, you're getting about $30 an hour. If you can pay them in an hour. Now, if you bought 5 of the exact same car, that's going to increase your chances, right? Or at least 2, right? 2 or more. 5 might be about the max. Depends on how fast you are. Now, this is a skill about maximizing results. It's a speed painting skill, but you're also trying to focus on what people like. They like contrast. They like dark shadows and bright highlights. They like striking color schemes. They like clean, smooth transitions. People like airbrush, right? If you take this owlbear, you could knock out 50% of all the work in a couple minutes with an airbrush, most likely. 15 minutes with an airbrush and you could really have him blocked in to a high level. I'm going to paint him live on stream and see if I can finish him in 1 hour. And I'm not going to use an airbrush. And I'm not going to do 2 at the same time because I'm going to do 2 separate streams and see if I can do them in an hour. But in reality, I could probably do both in about the same amount of time, but we'll see. Because it's going to be a problem dealing with paint drying and still trying to work. And like I said, it's no big deal, right? I think the federal minimum wage is $7.25. I guarantee if you can paint miniatures, you can make more than $7.25 an hour. You don't have to drive to work. Yes, you have to buy materials, but if you are doing your taxes, you could write off those materials, right? They're business expense. Now I'm going to jump over and show you some examples of what I'm talking about. Here we are on eBay. This is where you're going to sell your miniatures. You can also use things like Craigslist, OfferUp, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, anywhere you can, right? Local game store, whatever. All I'm going to do is I'm going to type, it looks like I did, painted miniatures, right? So hopefully you can see this and I'm not wasting my time. Whoops. All right, so here we are. We've searched painted miniature. Now we're going to scroll down here. Okay, let's just look for a second. Here's some stuff. It's going for about 20 bucks. This person wants $15, $2 shipping. This person wants $26, $35 for the little guy, halfling, $15 here. So you got to paint better than these guys, $15. But if you could paint this in an hour and sell for $15, you could still be making about $15 an hour, which is almost, well, it is double the federal minimum wage. And remember, minimum wage is the legal least amount they are allowed to pay you. They would pay you less if they could. That's why they're paying you $7.25 an hour. They want to pay you less, but the law says they can. Now, okay, we can see some listings here. This is never, ever, ever how you search eBay. Ever. Don't ever search eBay like this. This doesn't determine the price of anything. This doesn't determine value, nothing. You need to go right over here, show only, sold items. This determines the value. This is what people actually paid for these items. Now this one right off the bat is amazing that it sold for $50. It was sold from Russia. Looks like they did free shipping. Maybe it cost them $10 or something to ship if it came to the United States. And we're going to check it out here. Here he is. You could do this in an hour. If not 2 hours for sure. And especially, like, so it's pretty cool. Now, you're going to need to take good photos. These are all things you're going to need, right? You can't just, I'm going to make $50 an hour, $30 an hour, $20 an hour without some of this material. If you're just a random painter that stumbled across my channel, this may not be something you can do. But if you're a miniature painter, this is definitely something you could do. And if you're a normal painter and you want to get into miniature painting, it's something to consider. Check this guy out. Pretty cool sword, kind of a non-metallic metal, no real effects on the skin, some little hatch marks on the pants, some dotting on the shield. Pretty simple. Sold for $50. Okay, you could do that. If you're watching this and you paint miniatures, you know you could do that. This one here is $60. Let's check them out. Now it's 2 little miniatures. That orange has almost basically no highlight whatsoever. It's just orange. Everything is simple, just pure colors. The highlight, you could see the brush marks on the blue, which I'm not saying I like seeing brush marks actually, but you can see how they highlighted it. They painted it blue and put little hatch marks on. Now, if you had this exact miniature, which you could track down and get, you could almost just copy this, right? This person already solves the problems for you. They have, okay, metal rings on the stick, okay, a metal belt buckle, right? These aren't things you're going to have to search for when you're doing it if you had this miniature. Then you got this little guy here. He's got little hatch marks to highlight him. Pretty cool. Very, very simple base. It's black, gray, dry brushed. Very simple. The browns are simple. Everything's simple. $60. Very cool. You could do it. I could do it. I've done it. Now, this problem you got to solve is, can you do it in an hour? But if you're selling it for $60, you got 2 hours. Or 3 hours would still be, what, $20 an hour? That's pretty good. Here you go. This guy here, he's got an owl on his stick. He painted his eyes. It's kind of the same orange effect, but this orange seems like it has a little bit more shading. Basically, it's got a kind of darker orange in the shadow, lighter orange. But he didn't do the little hatch marks on the blue as much. Pretty simple. $50. Boom. See what I'm getting at here? Now, we're just going to scroll down. This one sold for something around $15. This one sold for $3. That wasn't worth it. They bought it for like $2.50 or $5. We're going to skip some of these lower end ones. Now this one blows my mind. I don't even know if so here's the thing. Sometimes these miniatures are rare and I don't know, right? It's possible. But this model, it's pretty cool. It's got some weathering effects. For the most part, it looks like probably base coated with this kind of camo green color with an airbrush and then using washes to kind of panel line and shade the panels. Some little missile effect with maybe some green stuff. Pretty cool. Nothing too special. The base is nothing special. It's just brown with some dry brush, light brown. This had 11 people bidding on it and it sold for $158. Like, okay, this probably took more than an hour, but it probably didn't take terribly long. Okay, $158. Now, once again, maybe this model's rare. Now I'm going to click over on this person, Anonymous Dale. They got 2 more for sale. $43.52. Let's check. This one actually has some OSL effect. It's got 4 bids. It's only, see the blue light reflecting onto it. Not terribly hard to do or learn how to do. Especially you could do it with an airbrush. This looks like it was brushed on though. It's at $52, 4 bids. But let's go back. Here's something interesting. You can go to this seller, right? I'm on Anonymous Dale's, 2 items for sale. But once again, I can go down here to show only sold listings. And now I can see what they sold. He sold that one for $158, April 14th. He sold this one for $143, April 14th. 7 days before, $167, $165, and then 5 days before that, $203. Okay, those are some big numbers for miniatures. right? And he did, what, 800 bucks in April already? $800 in April, and he's only halfway through the month. It looks like he's going to get another couple hundred out of just those other 2 miniatures. Does he paint these in an hour? Who knows? But the point is, there's a lot of money to be made painting miniatures. And the hour is just for ease of math, right? If you sold it for $150 and it took you 4 hours, it's still totally worth it. And let's go maybe here. Let's check out this guy. Sold for somewhere around $28.99. Took the best offer. Little pirate. Won't let me zoom in on him. Nothing too crazy. Just some base coat and some lining, panel lining, little eye patch. A white circle with a white dot for the eyeball. 30 bucks. Easy money. You could do it. Alright. I know. I get super interested. Hopefully you're following along because this is some gems of information. This model here, 50 bucks, 60 bucks. Now obviously you got to buy the cost of the model. That's cool. And now I want to show you another way to look at this. This way is my favorite. Go up here where it says end recently and switch it to price plus shipping highest first. Now we're going to see what the really high-end models sold for. And we're going to skip armies and units, but I want to demonstrate to you something. All right, that's 19 miniatures. We're going to skip that. Skip that. Painted board game. That's a lot of work. This GW model comes in the Dark Imperium set. Oh, never mind. This is... Okay. Okay, so I thought this was just one model for... When I clicked it, $390, one model for this character. I was like, wow. But no, all these characters, the sorcerer, the bloat drone, the bell guy, and the poxbringers, $390. I don't know how many miniatures that is total. Probably 30. But these are GW models. They're way more detailed. Look at all this detail they had to pick out. The weathering, the lenses. He did nice bases. I mean, these are really nice paint jobs. Now, why wasn't he getting $150 a model? Because it's a GW model and people need a whole army worth. But, let me show you. When all of a sudden, it's just one little character that somebody needs for their D&D campaign. This model... Look at this. It went for $360. $360. One model. One D&D character. This is almost the same price that Nurgle Death Guard starter army went for, and they had to paint the whole army. This guy, whoever this is, where's his name? Paintman44J, could have painted probably 20 of these in the time it took the GW Death Guard painter to paint 20 of those. This is fairly a simple paint job. It's just super clean with very nice blends of dark to light, right? The shadows to the highlight is smooth, but you know, there's some little eye shadow on and some lip shading stuff. But I mean, the model sculpt itself is very, very low detail. The little cup she's holding is just silver basically with some black lining. The pouch is just brown with light brown. Very simple paint job. And just because I'm curious, we're going to go check out his thing here. Items for sale. He has no items for sale. But we're going to go to sold listings and just see. April 10th, he sold this one for $108, $72 April 5th, $162, $72, $108. I mean, look at these prices. Like, this character, let me pick one. It's $90. All right, it's a Ral Partha, so maybe it's a collector's model too. Maybe they all are, right? I don't know. It's possible. Here we go. Let's see if we can zoom in. You know, some nice wing effects. It's basically just a clean model. This one's got some different kinds of tufts and flocking material on the base. It's got those same giant lips like the other one. These might be rare models or collector models. But the point is, when you're looking at how much people will pay for like an individual D&D model versus like a 40K army, it's shocking. You can make so much more money doing it. Now, of course, you got to have fun doing it to make it worth it. Check out this guy. This is an awesome paint job on Balsarius Call. He got almost $300 for it. This model costs like 50 bucks. So let's take 50 right off that. So let's say 300. So it's 250 right there. Right. So he got $250 for it. Look at all these little wires. He painted like hazard stripe on these wires, OSL effects, you know, industrial basing, weathering on the metal, glow effects, all of this. And it's an awesome Balsarius Call. And he got about 300 bucks. And we go up here. Maybe this is a rare miniature, but that girl went for $360 and took a fraction of the time. So when you think about painting miniatures, yeah, you could paint Balsarius Call, and it's probably fun to paint him. He looks cool. I have one that I need to paint one day. This one here is crazy. I mean, is this a rare model? It went for $260. They took a blurry photos. That's pretty good. Let's see if my... Okay, so this one's not blurry. So this is a perfect model to use new Ghost... Oop, dropped my can. This is a perfect model to use Ghost dry brushes on because it's all fur. He's got a cool glowing eye effect. Just some kind of blue with some white rough dry brush for kind of an ice base. Didn't really put much texture around those rocks. It's just kind of smooth, painted gray. You could do this for sure. It went for $260. I have no idea how much this model costs, and I have no idea if it's like a rare model. But that model, the blue, first of all, you could have airbrushed all that blue in minutes, a couple minutes. Then you paint all the fur, pick out the details, finish the base, it's done. You would still be trying to figure out how many chords Balsarius Call has up here. And it went for close to the same price. Maybe more, technically, if this model cost quite a bit less than this one. And we got, let's see if we can find one more. I don't know how much these Star Wars tanks cost, but it looks like they were going for about 200 bucks. And we'll go to page 2 real quick, just to see. Some kind of limited Witcher miniature went for 200. We'll check it out. Limited makes me sound like maybe this miniature itself is valuable. But, I mean, this is just a clean, basic paint job, not even based. Like, just little tiny highlights. Silver with the black wash. Simple. 200 bucks. Money in their bank account. You could be changing your job. This guy I check out quite a bit. He sells a lot of models for high prices. And look, just clean, simple paint job. A nice photo. Clean base. Nothing too crazy. Very, very feasible. If you look at this and don't think you have the ability to paint like this, you need to work on your self-esteem because you definitely have the ability to paint like this. And they're selling it for like $200. So let me jump back and just wrap it up. Hopefully you found this interesting because it blows my mind every time I look at it. And I try to sell models all the time on eBay. Not as much as I should or could, but it brings me a lot of joy. Like I sold a little troll for like 30 or 40 bucks I painted. It was so cool. And I started raising my prices and my sales have slowed down. But that's fine, right? I'm not... If I needed to pay my rent with it, then I could lower the price to $40 instead of $70. And maybe it would sell much faster. But I just... You know, maybe also it's worth it to shoot for the moon. The little tiny models sitting on your desk or on your shelf look really cool, painted, waiting to be sold. It's a really great hobby, and it's a great way to earn extra money, especially at a time like this. So definitely check out my streams coming up. Please subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below. There are so many other ways I've talked about in the past on how to do this. And we'll probably talk about them again because right now people might need some extra money to keep the lights on. And if you're a miniature painter, just clean, precise, fix your mistakes like a coloring book, stay within the lines, and take a nice photo, no flash on your camera, put it on eBay, and I think you might change your life. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the comments.